Hello, everyone. It's Rhonda here today by myself for the moment. Jeff and I have had a little glitch in our getting it together on having the right link for doing the restream. So he's going to be here with me in just a minute, and we're going to um, be very patient for him to get here. I'm really excited to talk about today's topic. We are talking about sustainability and being in a safe place in your organization. So let's just hang on for a second and wait for Jeff to come in. Um, so, safe space. As the business owner, we think that you would think that that's the person who doesn't have to worry about whether other people approve of them or not, or whether it's okay for you to say whatever you believe and feel as the leader and the owner of your business. But here's the reality: depending on who it is that you're talking to, you may or may not be able to say everything that you really believe in your situation. So that's why we have to worry about having a safe space. And that's why sustainability requires us to have that safe space that we can be able to get support, that we can be able to actually say whatever we are thinking or feeling. This all relates to a concept called psychological safety. And I was looking at this concept is something that we've started hearing a lot about in the last couple of years. Yes. Um, so I'm sorry, I've got another screen going here so that I can give comments if I need to, and it keeps going on, and then I'm getting an echo, and I don't either. So we're going to close that out because it's not helping. Psychological safety. The meaning of it is a belief that you won't be punished or humiliated for speaking up about ideas, questions, concerns, or mistakes you make. And so, speaking of mistakes you make, we are having a fun time trying to get the connection point so that Jeff and I can both get on this together. So I need to just make sure that I actually sent that to him, which I did. Yeah. There's nothing like trying to balance being on a live stream and getting your person there for you. So I'm going to tell him that maybe he needs to check his spam. Sorry, folks. We will get this going, and we really do have this is an important topic, and we really want to talk to you about it because when we think about all the different people that could be in your circle and why you might need to have a safe space, there are the people that could be your potential conversation partners. There's your spouse, and it's really important that you and your spouse are on the same wavelength and that you are sharing with your spouse what's going on in your business. That being said, sometimes there may be some conversations you need to have about your business in the thought process around it, in frustrations, in trying to figure out what's next, where your spouse isn't the first person you should talk to about that. And here's why. And I might have said this before on another one of our live streams. The reason why sometimes your spouse isn't the only person you should be talking to about your business is because if your business is a critical part of the ability for your family to keep their bills paid, there are going to be some times when what you need to think through for the business is going to require thinking outside the box of what might be best for your family's financial situation. So, what do you do in that situation? Then um, that's the place where it's going to be a challenge for you to be able to get into the right the right mode, being able to think through things most effectively. Because if you have a concern that you need to think through, but that threatens the ability of your family to keep their head above water financially, maybe there's somebody outside your spouse that you need to think through that with along with your spouse. I'm not saying don't share that with your spouse. I'm saying you need somebody who's not threatened by the fact that gosh, we don't know what this is going to do to our monthly budget in our family. And I apologize for doing this, but I need to help Jeff find the right link for us. So please bear with me for a second. Now all I have to do is think about the technology and how I get the right information to him. Always fun. By the way, if you are on this live stream with me and living through, I apologize for this, but if you are living through the excitement of um, what this is all about, please let me know that you're here with me. So I don't think that I'm all alone in this process because that's kind of lonely. So please fill me in on that. Okay, how am I going to get this for him? Here with me. So I don't think that I'm still not getting where I need to go. I apologize. Nope. This is going to be an exciting one to put out there. Hmm. Sorry, folks, this is not what we had in mind, but as you know, sometimes things happen. So now I'm not even getting the right thing to copy and send to him. Ooh. Okay. Okay. So I apologize, folks. Let me get back to this. I really want to, there's a story I want to share with you that really, okay, there's somebody else that's watching today, but they can't get in. That may be Jeff. Yes, here he is. Oh my God, he finally made it. Wow. Is this a great example of a place to be real? Oh my goodness. Let me bring you in, Jeff. That means I need to push the button.
Now we're in the same instance. I don't know if you saw my chat. I went out to LinkedIn and joined and was watching for a little bit until all of a sudden your update just came through with an updated link, and now I see what I normally see.
Technology. You gotta
Yes.
love it. Yeah, we're trying some new systems to get things organized. And well, speaking of systems and processes, we're still ironing out the details of those systems and processes. And clearly, this one did not work as well as we had hoped. Let's
No.
just phrase it that way.
It was
So,
kind of funny when we were texting, and I'm like, well, this is what I'm seeing today. I don't see you, but you don't see me. But so
speaking of being real, right?
yeah.
Yeah, well, and Julie, I'm so glad you're with us and that you are being patient and dealing with our craziness and trying to get the system all in place here. I had started talking, Jeff, before, because I was just thinking, oh, Jeff will be on in a minute, so I'll just start talking and he'll be here eventually. Well, you are here eventually, but boy, that was a while for us to get here. So anyway, I gave the definition of what psychological safety is, which is this came from the Center for Creative Leadership. It's a belief because there's many definitions out there, but they really basically this is what they're talking about. The belief that you won't be punished or humiliated for speaking up with ideas, questions, concerns, or mistakes. I love that definition because really, if you can, that was interesting. If you are able to be real and not concerned about putting your ideas out there, asking questions, expressing concerns, or admitting you made a mistake, because I don't care what your role is in the organization, you will eventually make a mistake. You can be the owner, you can be the administrative assistant. Speaking of which, obviously, we I don't know how that happened, but there was a mistake that caused us to not be able to be on the same live stream at the same time. So we need to figure that out. But the psychological safety to be able to say, wow, something went really wrong there, and we need to figure this out. And we're not going to throw anybody under the bus, but we're just going to figure out the process and move on from here.
Yeah.
Being in that space is really important. Then I got on my soapbox about, hard to believe, around the head of soapbox. I was starting to try to point out the fact that as the business owner, there are times when, even if our spouse is our confidant and our business advisor or whatever, sometimes we need to talk to somebody outside of that circle of us and our spouse to gain a perspective that neither we nor our spouse can have because we're too close to it. We're in the middle of it.
Yeah. It's
Yes.
so easy to do that. And when you don't have that space, there's a lot of things to talk to your significant other, spouse about, but sometimes the struggles of a business owner just, they always relate. especially if they themselves don't own another business. If you're not a two business owner house, sometimes it can be hard to relate to some of the challenges and stressors of owning a business.
That's really true. Absolutely. And which is another reason why sometimes, I mean, like some people might talk to the people, their golf buddies or their friends that they work out with, or whatever group of people that is your circle that you usually talk to about pretty much anything that's going on. Well, sometimes, especially with business challenges, you need a circle of people that are business people that are walking the same path that you are, that need the same types, that are facing the same types of challenges you are. They might not be in the same business you're in, but at the same stage of business, you're going to face some of the same things. And they might be ahead of you on one thing and you're ahead of them on another. So how beautiful is that group of people can support each other in the process of moving forward and each growing their business.
And there's a lot to be said about that peer learning environment. You have peers that some might be a little bit ahead of where you are, some might be a little bit behind where others are. You're all in a very similar boat.
That's very true. Not only that, but everybody within a group brings different expertise and experiences with them. So tapping that expertise of those other people and being able to have those trusted advisors in your space can be incredibly valuable. That's just it's really important, and to be able to be real with those people in that circle is there's no monetary value that can be put on that, really. So I have a story that ironically happened in my own. I mean, I was sitting there watching this unfold in a meeting that I was in last week, and it's so fascinating because it is a perfect example of needing those places where you can be real. And the person who I'm going to tell this story about is a friend of mine, and I've watched her business that she has built over the last. I think she's been in business about 5 years now, and she's growing like crazy. The business is an absolutely fabulous concept, and the kind of business it is isn't the point. I'm not going to tell you this person's name, but I am going to tell you that this was in a professional organization meeting, and the new president of the organization was speaking. She did a fabulous job. I'm really excited that she's leading our organization for the next year. And my friend raised her hand during the time when people could ask questions, and she said, "This woman, the new president of the organization, has been in business for I'm not sure how many years, but I'm guessing about 10." And my friend raises her hand and she says, "So, how long does it take before you stop looking at job postings on LinkedIn?"
It's an
Um,
interesting question.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Interesting question. In business 5 years and ask the question of when
Yeah.
you're not looking for jobs on LinkedIn.
Isn't that crazy? And you know what? I hear what she's saying. I've been in business a long time. And it's not like I'm going to take those jobs, but actually, quite frankly, sometimes it annoys me that LinkedIn shows me. It's like, did I ask you to show me jobs? Did I say that I'm searching for jobs? No, I did not. Stop it. But nonetheless, we're getting off on a tangent. No, I'm just kidding. But as a business owner, when you're in those stages and maybe like you're at like the point where you got to take another risk, but we're at another inflection point because they just keep coming, dang it. And you look at that job profile and you think, maybe, maybe that's looking really good. Maybe, maybe I should think about that. Well, what happened in this situation, there are so many like different facets to this whole story. But the people in the room that heard her ask that question, it was almost like this. Like they just were like, first of all, oh my God, she had the guts to ask a question like that. But wait a minute, you're growing. Why would you think about going and taking a job somewhere else? And so many people responded to her and said, no, you don't want to do that. Don't look at them. You don't, no, no, don't do that. The woman that she asked the question of didn't really directly answer the question. Kind of went off somewhere else. That was A. B was, so I talked to my friend after the meeting, and I said, tell me about that question you asked. And she said, I was really surprised by people's response to it. They were not answering the question. And they weren't supporting me or asking me, so what's driving you looking at those, where's that temptation coming from?
Yeah.
What's your thought process with that? It was just like, oh no, don't do it. That's not a safe response. Oh no, don't do it. It's not a safe response. The safe response is, tell me more about why you're looking at them. Because here's why she was really looking at them. This is the best part of this whole story. The reason she was looking at these job postings for people in her area is because she knows that in order to grow her business to the next level, she has to replace herself in the doing part of her business. To become the CEO, she has to say, I need somebody else to do the functions in the business that I'm doing. And if the people who are going, oh, no, don't do that, would have found out what was really behind the question she was asking, the responses would have been 180 degrees different. So just think about being in a community of people where you can put that kind of a question on the table. And you can be real about the fact that there are days when, okay, maybe she's not looking. Maybe there's a day when things have not gone smoothly. And she's looking at, I am sorry to throw in the towel. I'm just done with this. Because we have those days because we're human. Well, what if you could have that group of people that you could say that to? And they're not going to be threatened because it's not the household income that's a problem. And they're not going to be threatened because they're your team members / employees. So if you throw in the towel, they don't have a job.
Yep.
And they're not your vendors and they're not your suppliers. Well, I guess vendors and suppliers are the same thing. Sorry about that.
I was going to say two different words. They mean the same thing, I think.
Nonetheless, to have that circle of people that can be your safe place, that place to be real, to express whatever it is that you need to get out so that you can move forward. Because you know what? Those things can be limiting beliefs that you need to get past.
Yeah.
It's not that they can be. Those things turn into limiting beliefs. Or it's exposing a limiting belief. To get past it, it's got to come out one way or the other. So where's that safe place to be?
That's such a great story because as I was just thinking as you were telling it, how much different and richer the responses and the discussion could have been if it was, tell me more about that. Why are you feeling that way? You talked about probably, whatever group that was that you were a part of, probably the vast diversity in people's experiences in business ownership, people that might be past that point in their business ownership career and are struggling, or how many other people might have been there that were in the same boat and didn't have the courage to act, you know?
So true. So true. So one last thing that came out of my asking her about it after the meeting was over. I love talking to this girl. I get so much from these conversations I'm telling you. She told me she asked that question to another person that she was actually doing a project for this person who had been in business for about like 10 or 12 years. And so she asked that question to that person. And what she found out was that it took 10 years before that person really stopped looking. So
Wow.
I thought that was a really interesting piece of information from that standpoint. So yeah, I've gone on a lot, Jeff, and I have this weird feeling that I am cutting in and out, and I apologize for that. I don't know why that's the case, but actually, I have a sneaking suspicion what's the case. The case is that for some reason my internet is not as stable as it should be, which is driving me crazy. Anyway, here we are.
That we are. You know, it's just rolling into some of the challenges, tech challenges we had earlier on my end. You know, it's one of those when it rains, it pours, and today, even though it's very sunny and nice, it is pouring with technology issues for us.
Apparently so. Yes. So having a place to be real is so important as a business owner. It's not something that's really obvious. When you know, like if you made a list of things that I need in order to sustain my business, a place to be real might not be the first thing. Let me rephrase that. A place to be real is not the first thing on pretty much anybody's list.
Yeah.
Radical. Might need a checking account, might need a product that's, that's sustainable and that we can scale and all those different things. But in order to really make it go and maintain perspective on your business and on your life, a place to be real is really important. It has incredible value. It's very foundational to be able to have that sustainable business. And we
That
just happen to have an option for it. I'm sorry, you were going to say something.
Oh, I was just gonna say that's totally, you nailed it on the head. It can be lonely at the top when you own a business, and especially like the example that you use, talking to team members can be very scary or cause for panic. For folks like that, you know, you don't have that, it can have unintended consequences in your business. If you were to ask someone on the team, you're still looking for a job on LinkedIn, when does that stop? I can only imagine, you know, the panic that gets set in by the people that rely on you in your business for income. So, you know, it is something that isn't probably not at the top of the list for very many, if any, business owners, but it is something that is definitely needed.
Yes, it most certainly is. And talk about something that doesn't, we're talking about that you need somebody other than your spouse sometimes to balance things out. Can you imagine if you would talk to one of your team members about, so, I've been looking at some job postings on LinkedIn, and they go home and tell their significant other that? Talk about the ripples going out from the pebble in the pond. That is not the kind of ripples we're looking for.
That's right.
So, Jeff, let's share with folks our solution to finding the sustainability and a place to be real, because we keep talking about a community, and we are creating that community in the Inflection Point Hub. It's a place where it will be safe to be real. that you can bring your challenges, that you will have a peer community of other people that are business owners who get what you're going through, who bring their own experiences and expertise, but they also understand that challenge of being that business owner and how much longer am I going to, have these thoughts in the back of my head about how I'm going to keep doing this. I want to keep doing this. I believe in what I'm doing. But what do I need to do to be able to stand strong? And the only way to stand strong is to be able to have that place. So, RhondaPeterson.com/inflection-point-hub. That's where you'll find the information and the ability to sign up to join the community. This sounds like something that you need, that you're interested in. Please go sign up, apply for membership, or you can always send a DM to either Jeff or myself. We'll be happy to respond to you, any questions you have, to connect with you and talk through which questions are. So here we go. And speaking of that, I'm sorry.
That's awesome. And I'm not going to try and repeat the website since I really messed it up last week. 2 or 3 times to get it right. So yes, Rhonda.
Yeah, exactly. And next week, we're going to be talking about some of the experts, our curated experts that will be speaking to the Inflection Point, giving you a sneak peek of the kinds of people you will be able to tap into from the standpoint of expertise in the Inflection Point. So here we are. Hopefully it's been something you could hear that what we said made sense, because we really want to provide that value for you.
So the one thing, Rhonda, it looks like Julie had asked if we can also put the link in the chat.
And unfortunately, we can't. Julie, we'll put it in the chat after the live stream is over with, because we can't do it while we're in the live stream. The way the Restream is set up for us, we can't do that. That would be a lovely thing if we could do it, though. Very valuable. So we'll put it in. I apologize, Julie, that we can't do it right now. I will repeat it one more time, though, before we get off. RhondaPeterson.com/inflection-point-hub. That's where we go. Okay?
Awesome. And we'll get that added to the chat here once the video processes LinkedIn, so everyone has it as well.
Absolutely. Have a good week. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye, Jeff.
Bye.